G'day, it's Mark, and welcome back to the channel. And this is episode 2 in our UK Wild Violet Ford Landau series. In this episode, we see Rob pack the car for shipment to Australia from the UK. Let's check it out. So just to recap, Kathy saw my episode on the LTD and then put me on to Rob, her husband, who had a Landau. Rob had had the car over 30 years stored in a container, and he had the interior trim in the house. So an amazing story, all in the UK, plus all the original books. And the car was in amazing condition. It had been repainted at a cost of around £8,000 to Rob back in the day, which was literally 30 odd years ago. He actually had 2 of these cars and he had spare parts for another one. So when I bought the car, we were able to do a deal, negotiate a deal to buy the car and all the parts that came with it. And it's one of a very small number of Landaus that were exported to the UK back in the early 70s, brand new ex-factory. The car has an original 50,300 miles on it, and it was built in 1973. So the first step for Rob was to get the car out of the container, put it into his barn and start assembling all the various elements of the car for shipping. It even had its original visor, wrapper about the ignition system on the car ex-factory. Plus its original factory radio, which was pretty amazing, and a whole lot of new rubbers that he bought for the car and a whole lot of other bits and pieces that he'd collected over the years. I've always loved the Ford Landaus. Here's a beautiful one that Charlie had at the Ford Day at Geelong I saw recently. So the engine, people ask about the engine. Yes, it comes with the original engine. It's been rebuilt but not run for about 25 years. So that all came with the car as well. So Rob set about refitting the bumpers, refitting the engine, and putting as much of the car together as possible, albeit loosely, still has to be fully restored. Came with 2 radiators, a large and small capacity. I should mention my brother used to have a Landau back in the 80s. I think he paid about $3,000 for it. And I remember that car. It was quite a nice example. I think he had some transmission issues with it, so he ended up selling the car, which in retrospect, I think he sold it for about $3,000. He should have kept it. Imagine what it would be worth now, probably $80,000 to $100,000 car. So Rob started methodically packing the vehicle, putting the boot lid in first in terms of the extra fuel tank and all the brake calipers. He fastened down the engine. He then put the glass. It comes with 2 rear windows, 2 front windows. Used a lot of padding and blankets and things like that to make sure that it didn't get damaged as part of its journey back to Australia from the UK. Also came with extra dashboard, various wheel arch mouldings and trim mouldings as well. So he really did an excellent job in terms of packing everything into the container for the journey. Here's something really cool, original Ford personal import decal. I'll make up a sticker like that to go on the glass of the car once it's all completed. More packing of interior parts. You can see there he did a fantastic job taking full advantage of every available space. That's a spare fuel tank. He ended up stacking that full of parts, removed all the brake pads for the asbestos to import the car into Australia, and he thoroughly cleaned the brakes as well to make sure that there was no issues with the importation process. Refitted the interior. Love those bucket seats in the front and rear. That was an exclusive to the Landau. Fitted the door trims and various other bits and pieces. Car also came with a spare rear parcel shelf that hadn't been cut for speakers or anything like that, and other bits and pieces for the interior, plus also all the power windows, and he's made a little diagram there from a wiring point of view to put it back together. So fitted the interior, as you can see here, and all the bits and pieces, the original hubcaps. I love those big hubcaps there from the early series cars. No glass in the car at this point for the journey. That'll be all done once the car arrives in Australia. He made this frame up. He welded it all up to hold the car in place. And also you can see a diff there. This made sure that nothing moved around when the car was in transit. So I just want to thank Rob and Kathy for selling me the car. Really pleased with it.
Afternoon or morning, whatever it is over there, managed to get to the back of my container. So Now pretty much all of these here, Mark, duplicate parts. So obviously the bit that goes on the front wheel things, the original jack mounts, front coil springs, servo. Obviously there's a servo on the car and stuff. Managed to find that spare wiring loom. There's a few lights there, they're pretty ropey. All this is duplicate stuff, grille, light, a few door things. There's the motor. I haven't done anything with that for 30 years. I've got a couple of spare rocker covers for it. This here probably is going to have a bit of attention. I haven't tried turning it. The plugs are in it. It's been in the dry the whole time. I would have thought it's going to be all right. I would have thought. I'll let you have the engine number and stuff off that. Obviously, I've got 2 compressors, 2 starter motors, 2 power steering pumps. There's fuel pump and bits and pieces in there. Got the original speakers out of the car. The car's got speakers in the rear parcel shelf, but I have got another original rear parcel shelf, which is which hasn't got any holes cut in it, so it's still like factory. I've got a spare fuel tank. What have I got in there? There's just some like a wiper motor and the transmission cover, but all that's in the car anyhow. And in this one here, been like a proper little carburetor. 2 of those I've got. They're the original, whatever they were. I can't think what they were now. Whatever make things there. Rotor. Managed to find that spare dash. There's the clock out of it. I would imagine that one of the clocks didn't work. That's why they've been swapped over. A few other bits and pieces down there. Timing chain shit. It's had all that new in the engine back 30 years ago. Timing chain and bits and pieces. But there's quite a bit of stuff here. So we'll just see where you go with it. But as I said, I put that engine on that crate there, which is quite movable. If you want me to swing the motor back in the car, I can. Up to you really, but it's not going to hurt, I don't think, across the front of the container in front of the car if I strap that down pretty good. And the rest of the bits can go in the car. So there's your little video for today, and I'll see what else I can dig up. Cheers, bye. Also got a spare axle. I haven't got the shafts or the hubs on the, or the drive shafts coming out of it. Whether you want that or not, let me know. So here is my 1973 Ford Landau. I've owned this car for 32 years. This was actually one of 7 that was imported, I believe, by Ford in the mid-70s for the European market. I did track down all 7 of the cars that actually came into the UK. This particular car has been sold back to Australia, where the gentleman there is going to put it all together and give it a complete rebuild and get it back on the road, which will be absolutely brilliant for this car. And one day, hopefully, I will get over to Australia and drive it. That's what I've done, Mark. I've taped up all the holes because you said they might wash the car, so I've just put some tape over anywhere where water can get in. I've actually run some just down the edges and around the back of the boot there, so I haven't bothered along the front. I can't think water's going to go in there. Cover the back windscreen in. I'll do the side windows and the front window as well. But this tape, it's what they call silage tape. I think it'll come off quite easily without without damaging the paintwork in any way or form. So we're nearly there anyhow. Cheers, bye. Here we go, back in the day when I was keen. I did have all the screws, nuts and bolts put in boxes, which I've just actually found out which box is which and numbered the drawers, look. And they sort of correspond to something in this book here. So wherever we're to, you can have all this. So what's in those boxes there, written in the back of this red book here at some stage. Cheers, Mark. Right, I think we're pretty much there, really. Right, the fuel tank and those 2 boxes there, I'm going to put those in the front of the car. So when they open up the container, they can see that in the fuel tank, all the calipers there. brake calipers with all the pads removed, and the air conditioning units are there, and power steering pumps and stuff. That little lot there, I'll cable tie ratchet that lot behind the back of the car on the frame. Then we got the cars there. I put the car's number plates on it just so it looks hopefully a little bit more sensible. What I've done under the bonnet, I've just put some foam strips around here and on the sides there. I've made it so it's quite easy for them to see the tag plates there, but everything there's pretty much okay. There's all your pads down there. I don't know why I've got so many pads, but there seems to be an awful lot of pads. So then basically I've got the frame at the back so the car can't go backwards or left to right. I've left probably about 8 inches at the back there, 10 inches, so hopefully that's going to be okay. I will tape up the side doors of these cars, of the car. This side I'll leave a cubby hole in the window so that you can steer it. But inside pretty much everything is in there. Just everything that's soft is up there. That's the bonnet quietners and stuff. But this should all be okay. So we'll see how we go with that. Cheers, Mark. This is my 1973 Ford Landau, which I've owned here in the UK for the last 33 years. We've just packaged it up. It's heading back home to Australia. So it's going to have a bit of a resurrection there and a bit of a tidy up. And hopefully put back on the road and somebody will enjoy it. A little bit sad to see it go. Sort of a bit of an heirloom really, but that's how it is. But anyhow, I got that bad boy to drive, so that'll keep me occupied for a minute or two. But best of luck with the car, Mark. I'm sure you'll be happy with it.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode on the Ford Landau from the UK. Episode 2, make sure you check out episode 1 if you haven't and fly through on the playlist. The next episode you'll see will be the arrival of the car from the UK to Australia. So that'll be pretty exciting. So make sure you stay tuned. Please give the episode a thumbs up. It does make a big difference. There's a new hype button apparently on YouTube. Press that if you can. Apparently that helps. I don't know, but apparently it does. And can you please also hit that subscribe button as well, because that does make a big difference to the channel. Helps more enthusiasts see it, and share it on your social media platforms too, with your mates if they're into cars. So thanks again. We'll see you next time. Bye.